people have to experience what personalization is all about. I think a lot of people that are wary of it probably haven't had much personalization or opted into a lot of personalization. So I think if they can see a real benefit and tangible benefit, they're willing to do that.
This is Velocitize Talks, and I'm Andy North. My guest today is Andrew Thorne, CEO of Digital Mass. Andrew, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about Digital Mass and how you're differentiating a little bit in the marketplace, and what are some exciting projects you're working on?
Yeah, so we're a digital marketing platform for small business. So we're taking a software approach to traditional manual tasks done in digital marketing. So think about it sort of SaaS for digital marketing. So we build out a suite of tools that allows business owners to be able to test their website really easily, let them know where they stand, what they need to improve. And we also have facilities behind the scenes to help them do your common digital marketing tasks, track their progress and things like that. So yeah, for businesses that are wanting to get more customers or keep their current ones happy.
That's great. Are there any particular subset areas of customers that you work with the most for fintech or?
Yeah, lots of different verticals. Small businesses in Australia, some big strong ones are the restaurant space. So we've got lots of restaurant clients. Any sort of small business services-based businesses like accountants, everything from a car wash all the way through to a candle maker. So yeah, everything in between.
With the growth of apps and the death of the desktop, are you seeing websites starting to phase out, or do you still see them as a viable marketing tool?
I think business owners need to always have a website. Like, I think it's a really good way for them to showcase their products and services and things like that. But there's definitely a lot more places where businesses need to think about now. So you've got tools like Google My Business and Bing Places. You've got Yelp listings. There's lots of different places, even all the way to Amazon Alexa, Siri, those sort of things, where they've got bits of information, whether that be opening hours, their address, their products and services that they offer. So there's a lot of places where they need to keep up to date and also showcase what they have to offer so they can get in front of those potential customers.
So have you seen a lot of voice requests, voice work coming from your clients? And how does a brand maintain its brand image when it's working it through voice search?
Inside our platform, we have around 5,000 websites syncing inside our platform. So we get access to a lot of their search query data from places like Google and Bing. And what we're seeing is we're seeing longer search phrases in those search queries that are coming up. So we're seeing things like 6-7 word search queries coming up. And a lot of those are attributed to voice. So, people are talking in a very conversational manner. It's like, what's the best Italian restaurant in Sydney? And that's how they're actually talking and searching nowadays. So yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more of it. And I guess as a search marketer myself, it's a challenge to say, how can we actually make surface the right information to those voice assistants?
How has the changes in some of the algorithms with Google and so forth affected some of the search engines, where it's now becoming more of a push, literally a marketing feature than just a search engine?
Yeah, I think a business has a lot of different entities that they need to be in control of. So say, for instance, 10 years ago, it was probably fine to just put up a services page and list out your services. Now you're having to mark up those services pages with things like schema. So instead of just describing a block of text and a heading as being, just random text, it's actually saying, hey, this is the service we provide. Here's the price point with some price schema and things like that. So that sort of structured data is changing the way information is displayed on people's websites, because I guess the search engines, voice assistants, things like that need to consume that in a very structured way in order to be able to answer questions effectively.
There's been a lot of purpose-driven marketing lately with Nike, for instance, and some of the other bigger brands really leaning into some of these social causes that are populating the marketplace now. Are you seeing more and more of your clients leaning in on purpose-driven marketing, or is it still okay for them to stay on the sidelines?
I think brands need to be really clear on what their perception is online. I think reviews have just taken off in terms of the sentiment and what people are talking about you online. So I think they can't keep their eyes closed anymore. They really have to be monitoring, seeing what people are talking about in products and services. So, and even being able to respond to those customers is really important as well. Then what a lot of really forward-thinking marketers are now starting to do is take all that sentiment and creating their brand voice based on what people are talking about them. So it's almost the masses are telling them how to actually communicate and talk to their customers about their brand, which is definitely a change. I think it's going to help to get more connected brands in the future.
That's excellent. With the rise of machine learning, blockchain, AI, and so forth, There's so many new technologies coming into the marketplace, and I'm assuming with some of your clients as well. What are some of the technologies that you're seeing come to the fore within the next 3 to 5 years?
I think I'm seeing a lot of conversational stuff. So whether that be conversational bots, people using AI and tech to actually start communicating simple answers back to their customers. So I'm really liking the development of that. I think that's customers want that answer pretty quickly. So I'm seeing some things with people that are using chatbots and stuff like that, and intelligent chatbots that are actually learning based on maybe 5-10 years of customer support tickets and then being able to answer queries really well. So yeah, definitely seeing that is being great. But I also love what machine learning and sort of the big data piece is doing to predictive stuff. So, being able to know when you should be running ads for a particular sale or a season coming up, that sort of seasonality, giving you the advantage is where I see a lot of the really smart thinking people going down.
What about personalization technology? We've seen the Netflixes and Spotifys of the world really taking it within a very narrow channel, what your preferences and favorites are. Mm-hmm. What about, do you see it expanding into the larger marketing marketplace as far as personalization?
Yeah, I think personalization feels like a double-edged sword to me, because I think people are willing to exchange their data for a personalized experience, but often when they find that their data has been used to personalize that experience, they feel a little strange. I share my data with my phone, and my phone will actually tell me when the next bus is going to turn up, or if there's traffic delays on the drive to work, or it might be the weather, the city that I'm going to. So I could be flying to Melbourne. It reads my email, knows I'm flying to Melbourne, so it will tell me the weather for Melbourne to take an umbrella. Right. I think that sort of personalization actually enhances the experience, so I'm probably fine to share that data. Mm-hmm. It's just, say, for instance, if my data was then sold to an umbrella company and I was starting to see, remarketing ads for pick up an umbrella at the airport, I think this is where personalization is hard, because done wrong, it can be really bad. Right. Done right, it can be exceptional customer experience. So I think you just got to be, your ethics radar has to be really on alert when you're building out these personalization journeys.
Have you noticed any generational differences when it comes to personalization? And the reason I ask is we did a study recently, we've done it for 2 years now, on Gen Z.
Yep.
And compared to the other generations. Gen Z is much more willing to give their personal data, yep, as long as they're a value exchange.
Yeah.
Whereas perhaps baby boomers just, I want to keep my data private, doesn't yep matter what it is.
People have to experience what personalization is all about. I think a lot of people that are wary of it probably haven't had much personalization or opted into a lot of personalization. So I think if they can see a real benefit and tangible benefit, they're willing to do that. But also I think certain generations that, maybe weren't born with an iPhone in their hand, they actually don't know when they're being personalized. So that experience that they might be consuming, potentially they may not equate that to personalizations.
What are 3 things that you would advise any particularly small business to keep in mind whenever they're not only launching their website, but upscaling and growing their website?
Make sure you've got a really fast loading website. With more and more traffic going onto mobile, they literally will not stay around if you're loading 10, 15 seconds. So I know it's a real simple one, but just open it up on a mobile device, see how long it takes to load, and see whether you'd honestly stick around for that long if you're doing that. The second one is secure website. So a lot of people, especially if you're transacting online, a lot of people won't go to a website that's not secure. In some cases, Google will actually show this site is not secure in the search results. So that can often affect your click-through rate. And the third part is, I think, just searching your own brand. So a lot of people don't search their brand online. So whatever your name of your small business is, jump online to your favorite search engine, hit search, and just see what comes up in the search results, and make sure you're comfortable with what's showing up there, what you need to improve. In my job, I run into a lot of business owners who maybe they've been in business for 15, 20 years, but they're not ready for digital transformation. And I think it's very easy for a Gen Z or one of these new people to come in that understand the power of transformation, digital transformation, building out a really great optimized website, running a really efficient acquisition of customer, digital marketing program, whatever it might be. And I think the amount of business owners that are subject matter experts in whatever field they might be in, that just don't understand the capabilities of digital. And I think they're the ones that really need to understand you don't just go and build a website and hope for the best. You really have to put some focus into it. A lot of them have websites probably built 10, 15 years ago, haven't touched it since, feels that the web doesn't work for them. And those sort of people are going to really need to take a strong, hard look, get the education, learn what's possible with digital transformation, and so that they can not only remain competitive when these people do come to take their market share, but also be able to leverage all their wealth of experience that they've gained over the last 15, 20 years.
What about SEO and SEM? I'm sure they have some questions about that. How do I manage that on my site?
Yeah, I think like SEO and SEM and sort of those types of attractions, they should be running audits across there as well. We have an audit tool that you can run, which gives you your top 10 things that you need to improve when it comes to your SEO. But just the main thing that you need to look at with your SEO is really great content, some really good structure in terms of your headings and things like that. So these are things that visible things that you can see. I often just start, the simplest thing I do is say, go and search your brand online, you know, and we go through the search results and say, have a look at this, have a look at that, you know, and that's, you know, when they see people bidding on their brand name or something like that, they go, hang on, how can they do that, you know?
Right. And
then you can talk to them about that. So yeah, I think in Australia, there's a lot of small businesses, a huge small business community here, but globally there is as well. And I think the next phase of business owners are either going to be disrupted or they're actually going to be able to maintain and grow if they can embrace digital.
Toughest question we ask, is there a book, blog, or podcast that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Yeah, so one of my favorites is Reid Hoffman, Masters of Scale, and specifically the Blitz Scaling course that's available as part of that podcast. I've been listening to it now for about 2 years, and he literally takes you from the day you start your startup all the way through to, you know, Series A, Series B, Series C, and teaches you everything you need to learn along the way. Eric Schmidt from Google is on the show. Lots of different people, I guess, on that show. So really, really good one to listen to.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
All right.
My guest today has been Andrew Thorne, CEO of Digital Mass. Andrew, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.